Lesson 4. Move the constant to the right and the variable to the left. In our first equation, 3x plus 5 equals 2x plus 15. The task is to find what value of x makes that true. That's solving for x. Recall that you are able to make a zero if you add the opposite of a constant term to both sides. If I do that, I can make this into a 0 here, and it will be gone. And so what I get is 3x plus 0, which I don't write, is equal to 2x. Now, plus 15 and negative 5, or 15 minus 5, is positive 10. We still have an equation, but it's simpler than the first one. Well, what I'm going to do is make another 0. This time, I'm going to do that in order to get this 2x to disappear, or perhaps you can think of it as getting it over somehow onto the other side. Here's what I do. Just like before, I will add the opposite of 2x to both sides. Now, until this point, we haven't been adding variables to both sides, but it works just fine. Here's what happens when I do. I get 3x and negative 2x, which is just like 3 minus 2x, giving us 1x, which I'll just write as x. The right-hand side becomes a 0 here and leaves positive 10. So my answer is 10. Now I can actually check that this is correct. Here's how. What I can do is take the 10 and put it into 3 times x, but we now know that x is 10, or at least we think it is, we're checking it, plus 5, which is 30, plus 5, which is 35. That's on the left. On the right, we have 2 times x, or 2 times 10, plus 15, or 20 plus 15, or 35. The numbers match, and that guarantees that we are correct when we say that the solution of this equation, x, is equal to 10. Well, let's have a look at the next one. If you noticed, the first thing I did in the previous problem was to work away at the constant terms. I decided it was the constant term on the left that had to go. Then after that, we worked with the variables. So I'm going to do that again. Let's have a look here. What I'm going to do is recognize that the opposite of 7 is negative 7, and I will therefore add negative 7 to both sides. But what I will also do right now is add negative 3x to both sides. When I do that, I will get rid of the variable x on the right and essentially move it over to the left. This is what I did in 2 steps over here. Let's see how that works out. Well, negative 2x and negative 3x is a total of negative 5x. But this next piece, plus 7 and minus 7, is a 0. It's finished. It's gone. Equals, same thing. Negative 3x and positive 3x is 0. And I'm left to just figure out what negative 28 and negative 7 is. Well, that's negative 35. I have a much simpler looking equation, and I can use, in the next step, division by negative 5 to finish it off. Because when I divide by negative 5, I'm making a coefficient of 1 here. It's not a 0, it's a 1. 1x is just x. On the right-hand side, negative 35 divided by 5 is positive 7. And there's my answer. You could check this by substituting 7 into x, but I'll leave that for you if you want. The next step is to move on and try practicing these techniques. Thanks very much.